I crossed over to the dark side.
You have,
officially.
Not bad.
It's fun because I always, when I was head coach of Southern Indiana, for 9 years, my radio show will follow Bobby Knight's radio show on whatever local station we were at. You know? So as I'm running from practice and late to get to my own show at a famous pizza place in Evansville, I listened to his show, and the point was that Knight had great respect for the fans of Indiana. He talked. I mean, I learned so much about basketball listening to him answer questions in his show. He gave his fans sometimes more than he gave the media. And I kind of remembered that and enjoyed that. And so that when I did my shows, it wasn't just a way to sell some advertising. It was a way for me to kind of sell, our basketball, our style of play, answer questions. Tennessee's a great football state. Different places I was always at. We were the third in Milwaukee. We were the fourth or fifth biggest show in town. Same thing at Southern Indiana. And so I always I looked at that as an opportunity to kind of teach and educate. And so the transition to being on Sirius XM, I'm trying to look at it the same way. What can I bring?
Tell me about the coaching thing. You want to get back in as soon as possible? What's going on with it?
Right now there's some things about it that I miss. Yeah. There's a lot about it I don't miss. I've got a couple years to sit out, and we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I mean, I'm going to stay right. I'll stay right, and I'll stay ready if the opportunity presents itself. But I'm the vice president of marketing for the H.T. Hackney Company, which is a company very similar to Farner Bakken here in the state of Iowa. And it's interesting. I was good friends with Sam Farner when I was an assistant coach here. I'm sorry to hear that he had passed a few years ago. So that's what I'm doing full time. And then in my part time, I'm doing Sirius XM, and I'm a college basketball analyst for some other radio shows. And I hope to get a chance to do television next year and see if I'm any good at it. And if I am, and if I like it, then that might be something I'll stay with. We'll see.
Now, Roy Marble gave you credit for always bringing an edge to practice and really getting everyone to compete.
Right.
And you look back, is that true? And what did you do? Because you had so much depth at every position.
Yeah. I couldn't add much to Tom Davis's basketball knowledge. He forgot more than I knew. Probably forgot more than I know. And so I had to find a way to make a difference, to contribute. And so mine was to try to provide some intensity and some passion, a level of expectation for how we're going to train, how we're going to practice, how we're going to go to class. And I was probably on those guys more as a 26-year-old young assistant than even Tom would have been. His job was to teach and to coach, and he had to do it all, but my job is to make sure we competed. And so that when we get off the practice floor, those guys felt pretty good that they weren't going to see anything in the game that was going to be any more intense. I try to put a lot of pressure on them.
Bruce, what are your fondest memories of that particular 86-87 season? What does it mean for you to be invited back here today?
Well, it's an honor to be invited, and it's actually pretty emotional, to come back and see a place that you went to work every single day, a place that you loved, and a place where you were so appreciated. Our fans, there's something said about it's great to be a Hawkeye, and it means something. We had a lot of great memories, competing in the Big Ten. Putting up 101 on Bob Knight in here was pretty significant. First time anybody ever scored 100 points on Coach Knight. I would think though that the road to the Final Four, that run out on the West Coast, going to Arizona, and then on up to Seattle, and getting so close to go to the Final Four. And one of the most depressing weekends you could spend in New Orleans was going to the Final Four. Coach Close and I and our families, and not bringing our basketball team, because I think we could have gone there and Indiana won it, and we would have opened up, and I think we could have gotten to Indiana. I don't think we opened with them. I think we could have gotten to them, and I think we could have won it.
What does it say that you were able to have that type of season, considering the fact that it was Coach Davis's first year?
Well, we went to the other memory was significant. Was we went to China prior to that season. And what an amazing opportunity. you want to try to predict sometimes when a team is going to have a breakout year. See if they went overseas the summer before, and it's amazing how oftentimes that experience of coming together and bonding. That was back in the day when if you played the Chinese national team, you really did play the national team, and you played great players. And so it was a first-class trip. It was a tremendous investment by the University of Iowa to send us, really behind the Iron Curtain before it came down. China, Tiananmen Square hadn't blown up. There hadn't been a revolution yet. Mao was still, king, and that was probably also one of the most memorable experiences. And that had a lot to do with the fact that we could put the pieces together in such a hurry. And we had a lot of guys with chips on their shoulders, a lot of guys that knew we had the talent to compete, and just needed a system, needed to plug in a system. And that's what Tom Davis does. Tom Davis has a system of basketball. What you see is what you're going to get. And he's a believer in the pressure in the zone and mixing in unbelievable freedom on the fast break with patience. So.
Have you talked to the Big Ten Network at all about doing anything?
I'm down in Knoxville still.
Yeah, okay.
And so I think that the word I got was that because of how I fell from grace with the NCAA, that it was important that I not put myself in that sort of position for a while, and let me be the former basketball coach at the University of Tennessee for a while. Time will judge a little bit more and put in perspective a little bit more some positive things that we did there, and then maybe next year I'll take a run at that.
Would you? What would it be like for you to do a game in Champaign, Illinois? If I can ask, would that be hard?
You know what? Time has gone by in a big way. I always ask the question, were they better off after than before? And it's a part of the process. And I know there are probably a lot of fans in Illinois that are really glad that I got what I got, and that's fine. I deserved what I got. I made a mistake, and I always said then, I believe it now. It's part of the process. You have to have some of this, and some of it's ugly and uncomfortable, and it bit me at the wrong time, when obviously the NCAA was trying to make statements that we're going to take all violations seriously, and I paid a heavy price. But Tennessee will be better for it. The NCAA, as we move forward, will be better for it. And they were an example then, and I'm an example now.
The last phone calls from people.
Well, wonderful. It was a blessing to hear from so many great friends and people in the media and things like that. But it was only I only was acting out of loyalty to Tennessee. And in all since Tennessee gave me the chance of a lifetime. Tennessee gave me the chance to see if I could do it at the highest level in the SEC. And so the only reason why I stayed and never interviewed and never pursued it was because I was happy at Tennessee, and I felt like she deserved my loyalty.